So what's up everyone, Freak Chef with another awesome fucking recipe for you. This is called Pappardelle. Now, really Pappardelle is just a loose term. It really means just wide pasta, or extra wide pasta, or wide flat pasta. It originated in Tuscany, Italy. It comes from the Italian word pappare, which means to eat or to kind of gobble up. But even if you're just to say gobble up in Italian, it would be more like da di da divore. Let me get this right. Da divore. Da no da da divore. Da divore. I think I got that. Something like that. But anyway, enough of the Italian class. We're gonna get going with the stuffing for this thing to start, and then we're gonna get into making the pasta here in just a second. And first, we're gonna start with our filling. So I have some fresh chopped spinach from the food processor over here. I also have a couple containers of ricotta cheese. And the ricotta, I actually pulled the plastic off of it before I started recording this because this plastic that was on here is like Fort Knox. It's impossible. I also have a bag here, but I want to start getting the stuffing for my pasta ready. So I have the spinach, and this is fresh spinach that I ran through the food processor over here. We're also going to get our ricotta. I'm going to start with one container. Just squeeze it down in there. And I'll let it get up to room temperature. I should go with this second one too. There we go. I was originally going to use a hand slicer for this, like a hand grater. But then I was thinking, like, since I got this thing out already, we got kitchen power tools. And when we use kitchen power tools, guys, we're going to take advantage of it. Here we go. Let's get our block of cheese in there. And I always like to put a plate under it just to catch everything as it comes out. Or we're going to start with it without the... And we're going to keep mixing the spinach with the ricotta, our nutmeg, and our grated Parmesan cheese. This is going to be the stuffing for our pappardelle. I get too much spinach stuffing. Here we go. It's going to be amazing stuffed pasta, guys. I'm just throwing it out there. So that's that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pipe it into like a piping bag into the big pasta sheets that I'm making to roll up to make them look like roses. But you know, I'm thinking that's what that clip is for. I'm going to clip the end off of this and use this as a piping bag. So when I vacuum seal this, I'm going to take one of these clips. Isn't it fun to like pinch your nipples and like all kinds of stuff on your body? But I'm going to fold this corner of the bag over. And this way when I vacuum seal it, it doesn't actually seal that part off. This is going to help block that off. So that when I cut the end of it off, I can roll it and use this as a piping bag. So we're going to go ahead and get this filling with all my chopped spinach, the ricotta cheese, and all this right into it. We're going to put that in our vacuum sealer. And there's a little bit of prick on the edges. That's okay. Just go right between it. And that's it. We're just going to seal the bag right there. And then once we're done, we're going to get our next step is to actually make the pasta. So, yeah, that's the next step. Boy, we got a mess to clean up. There's shit all over this fucking place. Fuck my shit. And this is the stuffing for it. And when we vacuum pack the bag, we kept this clip here so that we can clip this off, cut a slit, and pipe it out into the pasta when we're ready to stuff it. I'm going to put the clip back on there, though. Alright, so the next part of our pappardelle that we're doing is making the pasta dough. This is going to be great. I'm going to put this in the cookbook. Just in case I decide to do a separate video of this, I'm Pain Freak the Freak Chef. I'm going to show you guys how I make my homemade pasta. Fuck yeah. And we're going to start with, I have 4 eggs and 3 egg yolks. So 4 whole eggs plus 3 egg yolks only. I have it just kind of broken down already, kind of whisked up. Not really beaten though. I also have 4 cups all-purpose flour, and we're going to sift this into a bowl. Yes, you really should sift it. You want it to not have any clumps at all. You want it to be nice and smooth. And we're done with that part. Pinch of salt. About 1 teaspoon to start. Maybe a little more. There's quite a bit of flour in there. And this is just regular kosher salt. You can use table salt, is fine if you want. And next, get that hole a little bigger. Quite a bit of egg going in there. This is kind of a bigger portion of pasta because these things are going to be big. And they're going to be stuffed. So, alright, and in goes our eggs. Now again, this is 4 whole large eggs and 3 egg yolks only. That just goes right into the middle. Alright, and that's all done. We also need a little bit of olive oil. Add that in now. That's about 1 tablespoon-ish. We'll go 2 tablespoons. There we go. 2 tablespoons olive oil. That looks about right. I'm going to write all this down. I'm going to make sure I put it in my cookbook, so keep an eye out for that. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, it's already out, but there's still a lot of work to do. But some of these videos are planned way ahead. I'm cooking this for Christmas Eve. Alright, and I also have 10 teaspoons, almost a half a cup. I've always just used the teaspoon. It's just under a half, but I always have it ready, and that's ice water. So technically it's 9 tablespoons plus 1 ice cube. That's about a tablespoon-ish. It's pasta. Alright, so here we go, diving in. So I like to start off with the whisk, and I also have a spoon. Depends on how the consistency comes together. It all depends. I kind of fold this stuff over and then just start taking the whisk. Stir it all in there. Again, we're just clearing our whisk out, keeping all that egg and flour there. Eventually, it will be time to use our hands. So we're going to get in there and get dirty. And I know it still looks crumbly, but don't worry about it. You'll see how this comes together here. Because now we're going to start adding a little bit of the water at a time. So I put about half of that water in there so far in here. Alright, so that's that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this up in plastic wrap, and it's going in the fridge. You want to put it in there for at least 30 minutes before you really start forming it. I don't know why, it just kind of helps it set itself up or something. I don't know. It's just the way it's been done, and the way I've learned to do it. So there we go. Get this thing wrapped up in plastic nice and tight, and then I'm going to show you how to form the pasta and the stuffing for inside. Here we go. Our pasta has been sitting in the fridge now for just about an hour because I have to do a green bean casserole too. So I figured I'd plow that out of the way, and we're getting ready to, I just washed my hands again, so it's a little hard to get the gloves on, but they're also pink anyway, so it's like, whatever. More pink glove time. Fuck my shit. But we're going to start making something out of this pasta dough now. So, like I said, it's been in the fridge for about an hour. Beautiful color to it. It looks like pasta dough. Spank that puppy. Anyway, so let's get this rolled out. I need flat sheets to make what I'm doing with. So see, it's not all going to fit. I like to use a tray like this, and just a little bit of flour right in there. A little spready wetty. There we go. Got a little slip mat under here so it doesn't slide around on me. And we're going to do this in sections. Before I start having a lot of that dough, I'm going to put some more flour in here just in case I need it as we move along here, so I don't have to start changing more gloves out. And that'll keep the raw egg and stuff off the bag. And like I said, we're going to do this in batches. Now I already have some parchment set up, and I got some sheets of wax paper, because like I said, I'm making some flat sheets here. So we're just going to pull a bunch of this off. And I don't know, texture feels about right. Let's see what happens. So, right on the tray. A little bit of flour on a rolling pin. And like I said, we need some thin, flat sheets to form into what we're going to do with this. And I can't wait for you guys to see the picture. I had the parchment out because sometimes the dough will start sticking to the rolling pin. So a little hack I have is to use parchment on top of it just to keep it rolling nice and smooth. But this actually doesn't seem to be giving us much of a problem, so I'm pretty excited about. If you're familiar with like lasagna, that's about how thick you want it. So that's the thickness we're aiming for. So there, we got enough to work with on one of them. So these are going to be rolled and stuffed, and I want them to kind of taper a certain way, but for now I just want to cut them straight sheets. Get this out of the way. And once we fold them with the stuffing inside, we're going to use this little wheel to seal them and go over it. Go ahead and just a little more. Alright, so here we are, everyone. This is the sauce for the pasta that's also going to be served on top of the tilapia fillets, which I'm very excited about. Fuck my shit. So, we have some of the remaining Parmesan and some of the other cheese. This was, we didn't use Asiago. Hold on a second. Let me just make sure I have the right one here. Yeah, it's the Romano cheese. Just make sure. Okay. I need shredded cheese, and I figured, you know what? For the amount that I got to do, let's see if this blade right here works. So, I'm going to go ahead and give that a shot. Okay. So not bad. It doesn't have to be perfectly shredded, it just needs to be chopped up real thin. And this is going to be a lot easier than using the a knife on the cutting board. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go with this. Let's do it. Alright, so for the next part, we're going to shred the garlic. So I'm flipping this over because I want to fine chop or mince, or like really fine shredded, like almost like a grated garlic. So let's see how this minces or chops. We'll find out. That thing's right up on this thing. Okay, well, it didn't shoot all over like cheese did. That's all it made, but there's plenty in there. I need about a 1/4 cup fresh. What I like to do is I just like to kind of move the bag here. I just like to kind of get some of the stems mostly out of the way. Give it a nice chop. Plenty real noticeable stems. There we go. It's all scrap. We can't put that in our dish, so here we go. Get rid of that stem. And we don't need the bowl under here, actually. This is just going to go for a spin, and then we'll dump it into another container. So here we go. Now you notice how it's not sticking to everything? And here's why. It's not rinsed yet. I didn't wash it. So here we go. Washing phase. We're going to dump it in our strainer. Move this over to the sink. And then we'll put it in our container. Alright, so that's all rinsed. Now we're going to leave this in the container open with just some paper towel on it. Looks like about a 1/4 cup. It's actually more closer to 1/2 cup. And I'm just going to put a paper towel on it. Not packed on there, but we have chopped parsley. I just want it to kind of dry before I put the lid on it because I don't want to start wilting by the time we use it later on. So those are the components for our sauce. Our garlic, our parsley, our Parmesan cheese. And the only other thing we have to do is melt the butter down, brown the garlic, then add the some salt, pepper, and the cheese. Once it thickens up on the stove, and that's all going to be done at the client's, it's all good to go. Throw the parsley in there at the end, and it gets drizzled over, sauced, onto the pappardelle and the tilapia that it's going to be plated with. So, next round, we're going to start making the actual pappardelle. Now that we made the pasta, we made all the components and everything else for it, but that's not yet. It'll be the next step in this video, depending on how many segments I make of this, maybe post it into parts, because this could be a pretty long video. It is a little complex, but it will be in my cookbook, so make sure you check it out when it comes out. Alright, so it's the day of the event, and just get the finishing touches on everything to have it ready to bring over to the client's house. And I also have a couple other dishes to make for pickups and some deliveries on the way. So we're going to get started. By the way, if I'm doing this in segments and posting multiple videos of the same recipe because it's a big recipe, I'm Paint Freak, the Freak Chef. Your private culinary paint delight. Fuck my shit. Time for more pink gloves. And we're going to start assembling our pappardelle. And I have our sheets of pasta we made yesterday. And they've been pretty happy in the refrigerator all night. I don't know if you remember towards the beginning of the video, we made our stuffing or filling form. We have it in a bag with a little clip trick. Make sure you go back and watch the video, and I'll show you what this is all about. So here, just in case I have to do a little rolling and flatten them if they kind of constrict a little bit and kind of shrunk down in the fridge overnight, I have a sheet pan, the rolling pin ready, and of course a container to put them in. The client is actually missing 2 guests tonight, so we're not going to need as much as we planned on, but that's okay. Better to have extra than not enough. So, even with some of the extra I made, I'm kind of glad that, you know, I mean, we still have plenty. Looks like the dough is actually looking pretty good. Doesn't look like we had much shrinkage at all. Still nice and pasta-like. I'm going to give this edge a little bit of a roll out, though. Kind of a little thick there. That's okay. It's all just finishing touch stuff. Just make sure it has an even consistency all the way through so it cooks evenly. There we go. Alright. Okay. And now it's time for the stuffing. Normally I've always used a piping bag, but I wanted to try this trick. See how it works. Save a little room there so we can use this as a piping bag. So we're going to cut a little hole there. I'm going to start kind of small. And if we need to make it a little bigger, we always can. I think that should be pretty good. Alright, let's give this a shot. Just like a regular piping bag, just give it a roll, push that stuffing towards your opening, the slit that you just did. We're going right down the middle, kind of off center just a little bit. And you'll see why here in a second. There we go. This is that ricotta and spinach mix that we did. And I'm going to smooth this out a little bit. It's like just with the spinach, it kind of gets a little clumpy. That's okay. Make sure we get enough filling in there. We don't want to overstuff these either. There we go. That there. Alright, let me get a knife, spread that out a little bit. There we go. That's perfect. Okay. Just to kind of keep the stuffing off the outside, make it keep it looking nice and clean. I'm going to take this, fold it over just like that. Pinch it down. There. Make sure those ends are sealed. Press the top. And see how this kind of tapers? This is the wider end and it kind of comes down this way. That's what I want for this next part. I'm going to take it. Like I said, this is the wider end. This is an narrower end. Come like this. Just using our pasta wheel. Just like that. And gently just pull this away. There we go. Alright. I got one roll so far. Clean up that end. It's good and pinched. Clean up that end. And I'm leaving a little bit of space between the ends just to make sure we keep that filling in there. We have a nice edge along this. And we kind of have a flat side and a round side. So we're going to turn this over real quick. Starting with the wider end, we're going to loosely roll just like that. We're going to keep the flat bottom edge kind of straight and flush, and we're going to roll it just like that. So it almost looks like a little flower, a little rose. I'm going to give these ends a little pinch into themselves, being very careful not to break the dough to release any of the stuffing. And we're going to put that in our bowl because we're going to use that to transport them to the clients. And we're just going to take another one and repeat the process all over again. Another piece of the dough. We're going to take our pin, even it out. Make sure that any spots that got a little thicker when the dough kind of contracted in the fridge is worked out. We have a nice, even, consistent sheet. Okay, and we repeat. So stuffing, again, going right down that almost middle part. See if we can get a smoother squirt this time. There we go. leaving some room by the edge. Move this off to the side so you can see this one a little better, just in case it was kind of getting blocked. Okay, nice filling. Our fingers cleaned up. Take our pasta, fold it over, just like that. Okay, remember we have room at the edge. Give that a pinch. Give that edge a pinch. Make sure our stuffing's kind of even. Just use your hands to kind of make that work, make it happen. Okay, take our fancy cutter thing. This looks like it's a narrow end here, so we're going to start up high here. Work our way down just at a slight angle. Kind of taper it, pull that off, clean up our edges, the other edge right there. Okay, now flat side up, that's our thinner side, starting with the wider side, kind of a loose roll. Again, you don't want it real tight. And there we go. Take your ends right there, carefully without destroying the top crown there. A little pinch in without breaking the pasta. That's just going to help hold it when it boils. And there we go. Another rolled pasta, just like that. And we're going to repeat. And then to cook it, that's going to be done at the client's. So we're just going to put it in boiling water, making sure they don't tumble around a lot and they stay in form. I'm going to have some toothpicks with me just in case to kind of keep them held together. And we're just going to finish the rest of these off and probably start pre-making the sauce, even though we have the ingredients prepped and ready that we did yesterday with the parsley, the Parmesan Romano cheese and all that. We're going to go ahead and probably do a pre-make on the sauce, and it just has to be heated there in their kitchen. So that's the rolled, jumbo stuffed Pappardelle spinach regatta filled pasta. And I don't know, maybe I'll put this recipe in my cookbook. That's a little complicated. Maybe it works best as a video, but if it is, make sure you check out the links. Go to my website, paintfreakofficial.com. Check on all my links and updates on my cookbook. Hopefully it's out by the time you see this video, but if not, it will be out soon. Love you guys.